Hello everybody, for those of you here with us at the Vegas Center in Jerusalem, and those watching on Zoom in Israel, in the United States, Canada, the UK, and anywhere else. I'm going to just do the reminder to switch off your phones. If I hear a phone, you will be ejected from the audience.
Can I take pictures?
You can take pictures, sure, as long as it's silent. Okay. We here in Israel, and obviously the audience I'm addressing is in Israel, and there'll be other people watching in Israel, and those not in Israel are people who, by definition, very closely follow what's going on in Israel, will be aware that we've had a rather dramatic week, or beginning of the week, shall we say, my British understatement. We do a lot of events here, as you know, dealing with the matzav, the political situation, the security situation, especially since October 7th. And this is one of these events which is in many ways, I think, a nice break from all that in all kinds of ways, because one of the great things about Tuvia Tenebaum's books is that they deal with some very serious topics, but do it in a hugely entertaining way. So we can be rest assured that it's going to be an entertaining as well as interesting evening. It's also, I think, a nice break from Pesach, many of us who were involved in that particular enslavement at the moment. Okay, so in a minute or so I'm going to welcome to the stage our guest, Tuvia, who's been signing books outside and will be signing more books after the event if you didn't get a chance to buy a book and have it signed by Tuvia. You can do that after the event. Those of you watching on Zoom, the book is, and all his books are available on Amazon. We will also send out a link when we post it on YouTube and on our Facebook page to purchase the book online. And you can follow Tuvia on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter as well. So please do that as you'll find out. Okay, someone's phone is going. That someone didn't listen to me. I'm tempted. My children will tell you I can be quite tough. Okay, seriously, phone's up. All right, I want to welcome to the stage Tuvia Tenebaum, a best-selling author, journalist, dramatist, and the founder of the Jewish Theatre in New York. Tuvia studied for his doctorate in English literature at St. John's University. He earned his MFA in playwriting at CUNY Brooklyn, a BS in mathematics and computer science at Touro, and finished his rabbinical studies in Jerusalem, so very much an all-rounder. He also studied Christianity and Islam in Israel and New York, as well as journalism, acting, theatre, and finance at NYU. He's the author of 4 Spiegel and 5 Israeli bestsellers, including the #1 bestseller in Israel, Catch the Jew, fantastic read. Everyone should read that, and all his other work as well. It's a great pleasure to have him with us, and interviewing him, we're extremely honoured and privileged to have with us Steve Linde, the editor-in-chief of the Jerusalem Report, a position he's held since 2017. He was previously editor-in-chief of the Jerusalem Post for 5 years, and was broadcaster of Kol Yisrael's English News. He was born in Harare, Zimbabwe, and grew up in Durban, South Africa. He has graduate degrees in sociology and journalism. He made Aliyah in 1988, served in the IDF Auxiliary Corps, and lives in Jerusalem. So, Tuvia Tenebaum and Steve Linde. And we'll have time for questions from the audience after their conversation.
That's all right. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much, Paul. I just want to take a minute to really express our gratitude to Paul for a wonderful job that you do here. Thank you. Thank you for hosting us. Good evening. Thanks for taking your precious time to join us this evening. And good evening, Tuvia. How are you this evening?
Very good. Every time when I see you, it's better.
We're friends and we go way back. But let's talk about the book first, and then we're going to open it up to some questions from the audience if you agree to that.
Of course.
Okay. So It's called in English, Careful, Beauties Ahead. I notice now that you have a different title in Hebrew. Explain to us what this title means.
Okay, let me first of all depart from official thing. Anybody has an idea what the title means? Yes? This is an amazing mind. Reb David, you are amazing. You are one of the only few in the Jewish world of today who realize it got it. Because the rest of them don't get it. In Hebrew you would say, Zeirut Yifefiot Lefanecha. Got it? That's what I said. So yeah, I mean the titles of all books are different in different, every language is different. Like in Hebrew, it's haredi v'tovlo. And for those of you who know Hebrew, the reason for it is because there is a machloket. There is a dispute. Rasha v'tovlo or tzaddik v'tovlo. Who is going to do well in life? And who is doing well in life? The Rasha, the bad guy, or the good guy? Or the tzaddik, the righteous, or the devil, whatever you want to call him, the evil one. So, when you put haredi v'tovlo, it gives you a question. What is the haredi? The tzaddik or the Rasha? So, it makes sense in Hebrew to put it haredi v'tovlo. In German, the title is Gott spricht Yiddish. God speaks Yiddish. In German, it makes a lot of sense because German and Latin and Yiddish are what you call sister languages. And now, what kind of title would you make in Hebrew? So I tried like 10,000 variations, minus one. I mean, I tried The Secret of One, because that's in Judaism or in Kabbalah means God. So I asked some Americans, and I thought it's a brilliant thing. So I asked some Americans, what does the secret of one mean to you? And they said, that means individualism. Everything I tried, one guts, everything I tried, backfired, because the Americans came up with explanation that made me feel like an idiot. So I came up with this thing, careful, Beauties Ahead.
How do you say in Yiddish?
In Yiddish. In Yiddish you don't say it, because it doesn't in Yiddish. In Yiddish you say Gott spricht Yiddish, like you say in German. In Yiddish you would say, how do you say, Moire, Scheine Idelbach, of Gasse, But, so some people think, when they look at the book and say, oh, very funny, Careful, Beauties Ahead, and you think, oh, very beautiful people around me, and probably they mean me. And I love it, but they don't get it. Only after I explain to them, they funny, they start laughing, ha ha ha! So I said, okay. So for example, Catch the Jew. When it came out, some people thought this is a Nazi book. Catch the Jew. But you have to read the book to understand it. And the same here, it's like if you understand the haredi world, in the outside of the haredi world, in the outside of the Jewish world, how does the devil look like? I mean, you've seen movies, you've seen Disney or Schmidtney or whatever it is, in the Christian world, in the Muslim world, the temptation, Satan. What is a Satan? Is somebody with like teeth coming out like swords, the eyes bring out fire, everything is like, it's so ugly. In haredi Judaism, what is Satan? What is the biggest temptation of the world? What is the most dangerous thing in the world? A beautiful lady. She is the most sweet, especially if she's not Jewish. If she's a Shikitze, so the Shikitzes are the most they can take you to hell in 1 second. They can grab you and you forgot that you get blind. So it's interesting. So basically what I say, careful, Beauties Ahead, and it relates to something written in the book itself. And when you read the book, you will make the connection.
So for those who don't know, and I know that the audience here in Jerusalem is full of your fans, but Tuvia was born into a haredi family himself in Bnei Brak, and grew up in the haredi world before, as you say, you left the fold and made it in New York. Also, I'd like to take this opportunity to welcome your wife, Izzy, here this evening. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for coming.
Thanks so much.
Thank you for existing.
So what made you decide to come back and check out Mea Shearim and see what it's like now?
Like most of the books, I don't make this decision. I mean, I don't even come up with the idea. It's my real publisher is the person, I mean, the company that pays the expenses, writes commission rights, you know, it's German. It's a publishing company in Germany called Soka. I am one of the few Jews that are publishing. The other Jews are Judith Butler. Anybody knows her? She's not a beauty, yeah? You don't have to be careful. Chomsky. You know, these kind of people. You know, so I'm a very different kind of a Jew that they publish, and this is one of the most prestigious publishing companies in Germany and in Europe. And they are the publisher of all the books in German, and all the other languages, which is about 10 languages, are basically people who just get the rights to publish in whatever language it is. So, and they came up, the editor, my editor, he came up with the idea. He said, why don't you go to the world where you were born, where you came from, and write about it. I said, will you pay me? He said, yes. You know, it's the first Jewish question, and make a little bit guilt. I said, yes, and anyway, the rest is history. So, in all the books, and with one exception, the editors or the publishing company, they came up with the idea to write the books. And the only exception was the book before that, the book about Britain. We didn't know what's going to be the next book, so I came up with the idea of Britain because I thought it was at the last stage of Brexit, and I also happened to love theater, so I thought, okay, finally I'll write a book which has nothing about anti-Semitism in it. There are so few Jews in Britain, I mean less than 300,000, and this is a country of millions, 4 nations. So, because I really wanted to stop writing about anti-Semitism, it's like, you know, it's like if you're a plumber and you have to deal with caca all the time, it's not good, it doesn't smell good. So I thought, okay, schon genug with the anti-Semitism, I'll write a book about Brexit, Schmexit, I'll write a book about English theater. It's going to be so beautiful, it's going to be so great! No Jews! So I come to Britain, we went with my dear Easy, we went to Britain, we spent months over there. I go on the street and I stop young people on the street, and I said, tell me, young man, young lady, if there is anything you could change in the world, anything, what would it be? And I thought they would say either yes, Brexit, or no Brexit. But the answer was free Palestine. Free Palestine. You know, and then I started like, okay, one after the other, that's going to be kind of Michigan. So I started walking on the street and I said, hello, young kids, my name is Ahmad, I'm Palestinian. I said, we love you. They don't even know what Palestinians look like. They thought I look like a Palestinian. Okay. It's beautiful, you know, you go out the street, people think, it's amazing, especially today in New York, if people think you're a Palestinian, they really did anything for you. It's really beautiful. It's really amazing. So, anyway, the book ended up to be the book about a few hundred pages about, guess what? Anti-Semitism. And then when my editor came and says, go about haredi, I said, wow, that's a good idea. You know, because the haredi are not anti-Semites. So, then there came the book. Careful. Beauties Ahead. And with my English, when I don't pronounce the R, and I don't pronounce the H, if somebody asks me what's the title, he's going to get doubly confused.
So just to give you a little taste, here's how Tuvia describes Mea Shearim in the beginning of the book. Mea Shearim is one of the most authentic haredi neighborhoods in Israel, and the most colorful of them all. And even though I lived there for a while, I left at an early age and didn't really know it. Though there's one thing I know for certain. If God occasionally takes walks on planet Earth, you can be assured that he does it in Mea Shearim.
That's true. Yeah.
So, what kind of Mea Shearim did you encounter?
I mean, totally opposite from what I expected. Because before we came to Israel for the book, to write a book about the haredi, I said to myself, okay, if you write about people, you should live with them. You should be with them. You should try to understand them by being with them. So I said, okay, where should we go? Mea Shearim. Because this is really, as you just recited, one of the most authentic, if not the most authentic, haredi neighborhood. And not only that, it's even years before the establishment of the states. You know, Mea Shearim was a good place. And when I asked people to find me a place in Mea Shearim, the response, even from the haredi that they approached, was don't even think of it. Because in Mea Shearim, if you go there at the first evening, people will come to where you live, stand outside of the window, throw stones at you, and scream and shout, going voice, koifer out, going out, whatever it is, infidel out. And I said to myself, okay, if they do that, you know, thank God I have glasses, so you'll not reach my eyes. But if they do that, that's the only way. I'm going to write whatever happens. If they say the worst thing, and if they turn out to be the worst people on earth, I'll write it. Because this is my job. And selfishly I said to myself, okay, this will finally, I'll be able to justify why I left them. But this did not happen. I mean, what happened was exactly the opposite. They turned out to be the most wonderful people on earth. I mean, that I found the funniest people with what you really think Jewish humor. If you are gay, come to Mea Shearim, you will enjoy it. Go to the dish of the Torah Saran, you will see those men with the golden things, they look like, God, so beautiful. And if you are lesbian or heterosexual, come on Friday night to Mea Shearim, see the ladies stroll the street. You have never seen as beautiful ladies ever. And it's wonderful, it's beautiful, and I enjoyed every moment of it. I have some criticism. The book is not a propaganda book, but it didn't give me that much. But it's Abba's book, and I'm so happy that I got a chance, not only to visit my youth, but to visit the community so despised, so criticized, so hated, and to find beautiful people, amazing people, people who invited us every Friday night, Shabbos afternoon, whatever it is. It was amazing, it was beautiful to go to the dish. Have you ever been to a dish? A dish is the most beautiful, wonderful thing. We had at one point, we had a German colleague. He came to us. And in the beginning, he was not sure if he should be Mea Shearim because he read in the German tour guide that if you approach Mea Shearim, be careful, don't go in because this is a very aggressive community. But he came, he's a brave man. And then for 1 week, we spent time with him. We walked all kinds of places. We took him to the Yudav Shimron, West Bank, whatever you want to call it. We took him to the Kotel and the Minarot. We took him to Tel Aviv, to Dizengoff. We took him to the Sepulchre, as a Christian, to see one of the most sacred Christian sites. We took him to a tish of the Torah Saran on Mea Shearim Street. We took him to families to eat together. And then after all this, we took him, Yam HaMelech, he went also, don't ask. So, and then I said to him at the end, I said to him, and now you're going back to Germany, what affected you the most? He said to me, let me think about it. Give me a week after I'm back in Germany, and I'll let you know. A week later, he said to me, what points out. The one thing that really stays with me, and probably will stay with me as long as I live, was that, what do you call it, Tish. That was the most spiritual thing that German intellectual experienced in his life. I said, I thought spirituality, I thought you would say is the second camp, you know? No. He said, there I saw money. Pray for money, I didn't see spirituality. But the Tish of the Total Sound, that's where he saw. And I can tell you, he didn't see. There was long after the lecture was Purim. And Purim, they take it seriously. The Rabban Alach, they drink and drink and drink and drink. And some of them, you see them, you know, on the floor, totally drunk, puking. And then is the Hasidic Jew that is almost totally drunk, 99% drunk. And he comes and he holds my hand. Says, Tuvia, I love you, geliefd. Ik heb het geliefd. Tuvia, is not so easy. You are so sweet. You are so spiritual. Wait, Tuvia, so the baby spirit. May God save you. Tuvia. Wait, Mr. So as I find me, you are such a nice Jew. So here is a shaker. The drunk person, you know, totally drunk, totally out of his mind, and comes to me the truth. Here is the haredi, one of the most hated people on earth, just before the settlers. The most hated people on the planet. And only is drunk, and he says such beautiful things. I don't think if I were drunk, I would talk so nice. God knows I would curse everybody. Or whatever, I don't know what I would say. I never experienced it yet, thank God. But here is a guy. And what comes out of him? Love, friendship, appreciation. This is when you see the honesty, the truth in these people. So I really enjoyed my time there.
Well, and you met some wonderful people, from rebbes to just everyday people in the street, who all, they knew who you were, yes? Or did you tell them who you were?
In the beginning, I didn't know how I should tell them. Like for the Germans, I was Polish or something else. For the Israelis here, I was German, Toby. For the Palestinian, I was Toby from Romania, Toby from Germany. I remember interviewing Ayelet Shaked, remember? You know her? And in the Knesset. And after the interview, she said to me, this is my first time to give an interview to the German TV. And I said to her, MK Shaked, in the name of the German people, I feel really bad for what we have done to you. It all made me laugh. I have to be serious here. And I'm so thankful to you for taking the time to speak to a German like me. It was beautiful. I really love this. And he has, after the book came out, he said, I'll never forget what you did to me. So this time I didn't know. So I said out to Izzy, I said, well, let's go to, we found out Hotel Sfania, that's what we found, the only hotel, it's like a boutique hotel, it's 18 rooms, very nice place. Excellent, it's just on Sfania in Yecheskel, just next to the Garashabak. And said, okay, let's go to the Kasbah, the Kodesh Kodoshim, the Holy of Holies of Ner Shearim, which is the market, the Shuk. So you go to the Shuk and say, let me smell the people. So what kind of name? Maybe I should call myself Ahmad, I didn't know like with Britons. You never know. So we walk for the first 30 minutes. 5 people approached us. Tuvia was here. Tuvia, how are you doing? Tuvia, deine as I shine, your books are so beautiful. I was shocked. See, I'm not supposed to read these books. Not in my time. I'm Tuvia. In the voices I would catch the Jew. Not the voices I would, the voices I would. And the voices I would. On page 142. In the 6th line over there. Ah, so is this. So smart. It's sweeter than any other. On page 137. The line 7. I don't know what he's talking about, but okay. Zoekte. Never forget it. We did Friday night, one of the first Friday night, we went to told us the mitzvah. These are the people who demonstrate against the Meshukas. Once a year. And we sit there, we just sit down. And the guy comes to me. Shabbos was here to says, "Achusha the reads and you're an important Jew." And then he said, "Yes, read in Yiddish. Tell me, are you going to do to us what you did to the Americans?" And he's like, "Okay, so my name is Tuvia, and that's it. Gegangen." So and that's and it's beautiful. I mean, it's like so. They know my books. They have read many of them, and it's like amazing. Sometimes it comes in a conversation, in a stupid conversation. I said, "How do I get from here to the next page? Whatever." Tuvia, listen to me. You know the Arabs. You don't do this. Oh, like the guy comes to me one evening. We are going to like in Arab speak, it's funny, and it was like 12:30 at night. Guy says to me, "What is your name, sir?" I said, "My name is Tuvia Tenebaum." He said, "Mister, are you a Christian? Are you Muslim? Are you Buddhist? Who are you today?" I said, "How dare you ask this question with a name like Tuvia Tenebaum? I told you, Christopher Tuvia Tenebaum. How could it be? What, I'm Muslim? Meshuggah?" And he said, "Tuvia, what do you think? I didn't read your books." It's like it came from everyone, like from nowhere. I mean, it's like they came with this Hasidim, this Chavedim, especially the Hasidim. The Hasidim are like, also the Yiddish, the Galician Yiddish of the Hasidim is beautiful, it's full of humor, it's what's called Jewish humor. The Litvak are different a little bit, because the Litvak is what it says in the term Angstschreuer, there's like a set of two-straight, like the Germans. But the Hasidim, yeah.
Okay, now I'm going to play devil's advocate, but you also saw Palestinian flags and you met some anti-Zionist figures, including the head of the Turei Karta. How much of that is in Meir Shearim?
Yes, I've seen that too, and that's from the book. Even pictures, I've seen that. I have seen all the graffiti, the Arab graffiti. Death to the Zionists, whatever you want to call it, I've seen all that. But you have to live there for a long time to understand how it works. Because I have also seen people, Haredim, who have at their own, one of the things that they have are buckets with paint, to paint over those things. That's nobody talks about. And who are the ones who do all this Meshuggah by the end of the day? Little kids. And from the demonstrators that I have seen, because most of the demonstrators are not showing that they start exactly at the corner of Tzfanya and Yechezkel, and many of them, or most of them, and they are Balei Tshuva and Sephardic. They are dressed like Haredi, but sadly they don't speak Yiddish. And I've seen it. And yes, I met the leader of the Turei Karta, and we had like many discussions. But again, when you talk Yiddish, it's different. Speak Yiddish is different. Like for example, we had a discussion. So I said to him, I asked him, according to you, it says in the Halacha is that pikuach nefesh doicha Shabbos. If somebody is pikuach nefesh, if somebody is dangerous of life, you have to desecrate the Shabbat for him, which means an accident to a car or whatever. He lies down, you drive a car on Shabbat, you do everything on Shabbat, you desecrate the Shabbat, you break all the rules of Shabbat in order to save a life. So I asked him, what happens if it's a chiloi, a tziloi. So he says to me, look, it says, if somebody does not believe in the Yod Gimel, and then the 13 principles the Rambam said, my mind, he says, if you don't believe in it, you are not a Jew. So if he doesn't believe, one of them is Shmirat Shabbat, one of them is observing the Shabbos, if he doesn't believe it, I'm not allowed to desecrate the Shabbat. I said, okay, I got you. Now tell me, since you believe in the Rambam also says, at least according to the Ramban says, the Rambam rules, that a Jewish man, is allowed to sleep with women if they are not married and if they are not in the period. As many women he wants to sleep with. So, since you believe everything in the Rambam, it is, or do you accept, since the Rambam says it, that a Jew can sleep with as many women as he wants? He says, this is the halacha. What can I do? Is it all? Okay. So, that means that we can sleep and have sex with any woman and not in the period. Correct? No. We just said yes. Was heißt es? Hallo, Aloha, was der Vater, macht ein Knätchen hier, ein Knätchen hier, and that's it. It speaks Yiddish. Like a guy comes to me and says, okay, Tuvia, I have to meet you and talk to you. I don't have a smartphone, but it's not permitted. But so how do I get to you? So what's your answer? So wait a second, what do you mean, what's my answer? You're not allowed to have a cell phone, a smartphone. How do you have a WhatsApp? You're not allowed to have a computer. Tuvia, das heißt noch nicht. In diese Tasche kann ich nicht. In this pocket I'm not allowed. In a cushion. Yeah, but I don't want. There's the. And the same thing, so I said to him, it's Romer Hersh, tell me. This is the guy from Torquay. It's a fact. That's it. Imagine. So he's a Jew. He's about to, he might lose his life if he's not taken to the hospital right now. You stand there. You have the keys to the car. You can do whatever. You can say it. Will you not say it? Oh, this is something else. This is a totally different question. So you have to understand what he's saying. So it's a lot of Yaakov. So like a guy would say to you, I'm against Zionists all the way. Anti-Zionists, they are the worst. I said, okay. If this government returns Yehuda v'Shomron to the Arabs, I'm going to kill them. So what's West Bank called? You are against Zionists. What do you care about the West Bank? Yehuda v'Shomron, what do you care about? So he's not a Zionist, he's a Zionist, whatever it is. I remember I was sitting with the sons-in-law of the Rebbe of Shearim. You know Shearim, it's also near Shearim, they're little Hasidics. And they are really anti-Zionist as much as you can imagine. And the wife of this Rebbe, I am testifying under oath, makes the best gefilte fish created by mankind. No one of you has ever tasted real gefilte fish. This is gefilte fish from Gan Eden, from Ulumaba. The angels of God, when they sing Shalom Aleichem, Shalom, those angels, they have this gefilte fish. Anyway, so we sit there, and they said, what did you learn? What did you find out? So I say, I find out that you are the most Zionist that I have ever seen. We are the most anti-Zionist. So they listen to me. I know Haredi. Look at the Haredi in Manchester, look at the Haredi in London, look at the Haredi in Amsterdam, look at the Haredi in all the places. I visited them. If a Haredi kid from Manchester walks out of the little neighborhood, most likely, somebody is either going to throw a stone at him, or in a head, or still is yelling. And no matter what, anti-Semitism in Britain is so big, is so huge, and the Haredi know that. But not only is he not going to demonstrate against the anti-Semitism, they are not even going to admit it. I found anti-Semitism in the Haredi community by talking to the kids and saying to them what that is. Because the grown-ups will not even admit it. But you don't, nobody's demonstrating. Nobody. Go to Lakewood, go to all these places, go to Gateshead, nobody's demonstrating. We are engaging. We just come in. As I just get off the car, boom, the security people. Who are you? What are you doing here? They are afraid of everything. You can't even walk to the yeshiva without a key. They are so afraid. It's amazing. But you are saying to this Sunday morning, Mishpucha, you live in Eretz Yisrael. You have a wonderful life. You do whatever you want. No cars on the streets on Shabbos. You have beautiful houses. Look at the house here of your father, the Rebbe. Everything is wonderful. Nobody throws things at you on the streets. You are growing more and more. More money, more success. And I feel, and that year, I feel kind of appreciates it. You won't go to the streets and demonstrate. Why? You know why? Because if you demonstrated in London, or in Antwerp, you would have to deal with the police in London and Antwerp, or in Manchester, or wherever it is, or in Jersey. And you know that they are not going to be kind to you. But here in Eretz Yisrael, even though you have no reason, you will not still demonstrate because you have nothing better to do. You need some action. So you go to the street and you say, okay, what am I demonstrating? In a country of Jews. The police is Jewish. They are your brothers and sisters. And you know, they are not going to blow up your head. And they look at me and say, keiner is getracht. I've never thought about it. But I say, yes, Mr. Mayor, probably your heart. We are Zionist. And the Rebbe said to me after I interviewed him, I am the biggest Zionist in Israel. I never left this country and I never give it. Okay? So, again, it depends how you look at things. And you do have to understand that in Yiddish, in that world, you know, you say one thing, sometimes you mean another thing. Yeah.
On the other hand, you found a community that really cares about one another. You describe how they put out food for the needy, etc. And they are really a community.
It's a really community. The food is excellent, much better than anywhere else.
What's the best restaurant in Shearim?
What?
The best restaurant in Shearim.
Okay, depends what you like. I mean, it's like we go to a Dankula to get a chum. You go to an eatery, you can eat there inside. And Deutsche has the best, my best schnitzel chicken. They make it with eggs instead of crumbs. They make it with eggs. It's so good. It's a lot of good, great food over there. It's really amazing food. And I also discovered, because I am really addicted to cola, to black waters. I cannot drink normal waters. I can drink normal water. I start coughing. I cannot. So one time it was late Shabbos. We are in the family of this show, and the kid, 2-year-old, so 1.5, something like that, his water bottle was empty. So he wanted the water. So his mother, who loves him, took the big bottle of Cola Zero, poured it into the baby bottle, and she gave him a drink. So you go up with Coke Zero. What else? By the pen, some people, you have to understand, every Haredi family in the area of Mershor, on the table on Shabbos, you have either Cola Zero, Coke Zero, or Pepsi Max. Never together. Because it depends who is the Rabbi Machshir, who is the answer.
And you met all kinds of, I mean, you're from a prestigious rabbinical family yourself. You met all kinds of pedigree and important and wealthy rabbis, rebbes. Which is your favorite?
My favorite Rebbe is what David introduced me to. He's the Rebbe of Tuvia. He is my favorite Rebbe. And I'll tell you one little story. When I interviewed him and I asked him what would happen if it's Yoini Chiloini comes to shul, to your shul, how will you react? And he said to me, if he comes to fight me, what choice do I have? But if he doesn't come to fight me, what kind of question is this? Wir seien alle Eden. We are all Jews. Now, have I ever erred anybody on the liberal Israeli or even on the Zionist team who says that about the haredi? I gave a lecture one time to a gathering of right-wing, many of them with kippot sugot, and I said to him, I was initially staying in Shearim. I said that I find that people are very nice people. And she was screaming at me, yelling at me, shouting at me, how can you say that about the haredi? I'm chazirim, I'm chalot. And I couldn't believe this in Israel, this hatred. Not only from the Chivnim. Aaretz now, if you want, that in the wider Shearim, which is tens of thousands of families, not one child lives there who did not experience sexual violence. How can you take, sorry, the bubbles. How can you take a community of so many people? Why are you laughing for my bubbles? I am a human. It's okay. Can you take a community of thousands and thousands of people and see that every child went through some kind of pedophilia or whatever it is? If a journalist for the New York Times or for the Wall Street Journal, whatever it is, submitted an article that every child in Harlem, or whatever it is, a section of the United States, where thousands and thousands of people live in a community, and see that every child is a victim of sexual harassment, that journalist would lose his job on the spot. Not to mention, no respectable newspaper would publish such an article. But here you have Haaretz, very respected. And you write something like this, you publish it. I mean, I'm sorry, I do not accept it. I'm not saying there is no pedophilia. There is pedophilia in every community. Even in the most liberal, schmibberal, progressive, schmaggressive communities. But just to take the haredi home and blame it for something like that, I mean, this is anti-Semitism. This is Jewish anti-Semitism.
And in the last chapter, I'm jumping ahead so that we can ask our audience if they have questions. You're in Meir Shearim when October 7th happens, on Simchas Torah, as you say. How was that?
And it was very, very interesting. I mean, early in the morning on Simchas Torah, it was Shabbos also, and silence went up. And what happens when the silence go up in your shirt, you go outside, right? It's a different kind of logic over there. So, and I did the same thing, we go out, and we see some amazing display in the sky. And people ask me, nobody knows because you don't use electronic devices for Shabbos, and they don't know. I didn't know either. And they looked at me like, do I know? No, I didn't know either. So I went back to the room, and I opened the iPhone and all other devices, and I talked to some people, journalists, and I watched the most reliable, in cases like this, TV station is Al Jazeera Arabic, because then they played the Hamas clips, and I saw there what things was happening. And also you have a Hamas channel on television, and they are very proud to show what they did to the Jews. It was frightening. And I went outside and I told the people what I saw. The first thing they said, the first thing that came out of their mouths, knowing that the people in Gaza, or in North Gaza, not Gaza, are not religious, whatever, left, whatever. They said, yes, what Hamas does to us is what the Nazis, Hamas does to us, is what the Nazis did to our grandparents and parents. The same thing. They ate Jews, they ate all of us. God save us. And when Shabbos was over, Simchas Torah was over, there were loudspeakers going on the street and saying, shouting, Ovinu Shebashamayim Barachem Aleinu, our Father in heaven, have mercy on us. And they called on the people to congregate in different synagogues and to pray for all Jews. When push came to shove, every hatred is forgotten, forgiven, and like the Rebbe said, the Rebbe of Tuvia, wir sind alle. So I'm still waiting for the time to hear it in Israel today, which is a very split society. Any of them really saying it and meaning it, wir sind alle. I don't see it in Israel today. I see a split society, I see hatred, I see sinat chinam from A to Z, which is very hard to see, especially if you are, we say in Hebrew, if you are a guest, to see more, and because we don't really live here, and to see what happens in this society, forget the anti-Semitism around the world, that now everybody admits it. It was there all the time, but now you see it. And to see the split in the society, to see the hatred in the society, as especially if you compare it to what the haredi, and again, not all the haredi are like that. The haredi are kranke zuges. Schwarze bitte relevant. You have them too. I mean, I'm not saying, of course, no society is all the same. And of course, in the other side, there are people who really care. There are really people who don't have the sinat chinam, but as a society, what happens there, I mean, look, for all this time that we have been there, they know that if they put a yarmulke over there, I put yarmulke over a white shirt. They know that the yarmulkes are not really religious, even in books. They know are not religious. And according to their thinking, or to what the Gemara says, it's not of them, Shono Pirash Koshemikulu. He who studied and left is the hardest to follow. You're not allowed to talk to him. It says so. But it's a state, but reality is not always the same. You know, in the haredi world. They invited us, they embraced us. And I remember one time I asked, I think I told you that, I asked, why are you accepting? Why? Invite my wife. Why? And the answer was, when you speak Yiddish to us, it's not you talking to us, it's your grandpa talking to our grandparents. When I heard it, I had like goosebumps. All of a sudden, it's like, we are one family. Nicht only, wir sind alle Juden, wir sind eine Mishpucha. We are one family. And that feeling for the life of me, I never had in the United States, or in Germany, or in every other Jewish community. So we are a family. We don't have to agree on everything. We can disagree, and we can very much disagree that there's an eine Mishpucha. We are one family, and that's one thing that I take away with me from Shearim, from the haredi world, that I might not be a believer at the end of the day, but I am still haredi, and proud to be haredi.
A Zionist haredi. Paul is going to help us moderate questions from the audience. Hand it over to you.
No, I can. I'll do it. Okay, firstly, a big round of applause for Tuvia Tenebaum and questions. Where's my trusty assistant with the mic? Oh, there you go. Okay, so hands up for questions. Those of you who've been here before, I apologize if this is boring that you're hearing me say this again, but please make your question a question with an audible question mark at the end of the statement. Okay, yes, it's great, right in front of you. Wait, just wait for the mic so that we can hear. Here in the front. No, here. Sorry.
Because it's obvious that you didn't forget what you learned as a boy, do you think that helped you in your relationship in male?
Your loudspeaker doesn't work.
Is it on?
You have to put it on. Then you try it, you can say poo poo poo, see if it works. Ho ho. La la.
Wait a second.
In.
Yeah, now it works, now it works.
Yes.
Because it was obvious that you had not forgotten what you learned as a boy.
Take that a little bit away from your mouth now because it's too loud. You see that like this? Like this.
Again, because it's obvious that you haven't forgotten what you learned as a boy, do you think that that helped you in your relationship, Mayor Shearim? Not only because you knew what you were talking about, but because they thought, perhaps, even if they didn't say it, that if you stayed there long enough to become a Baal Tshuva, and do you think that that's part of the reason that they accepted you as well as they did? And would you have reacted differently if you'd been born a Chiloni?
Okay, I mean, first of all, they didn't think I'm going to be a Baal Tshuva. They're not that dumb. They're not that stupid. Number one. Number two, there are very few Chabadskers over there in Shearim, and the Chabadskers are missionaries, the rest of them are not missionaries. You want to be a goy, be a goy. And so they didn't try to make me Baal Tshuva, that's for sure. And if I were differently, I mean, it's like, I think for every community that you go to and you interview and you try to write about, if you're not lucky enough to have learned it as a kid, you have to pick up the pieces. If I write a book about Israelis and Palestinians, before that I know nothing about the Palestinians. But I'm not going to write an interview with Palestinians without knowing who they are. So I studied Arabic. At the time I spoke better Arabic than today because I've been speaking a long time. I studied the Quran, I studied Islam, I studied the culture. And by the end of the day, I was very welcomed by the Palestinians because I knew who they were. I understood. Yes, it's very important before you write about the people, to know the people. If you're lucky enough, you have been born there, and it's given to you like Haredim or whatever it is, yes, and you write about Haredim, you have that advantage. But if you don't have that advantage, you still have to make it if you write about the people. You cannot write about the people without understanding the ways they talk and the ways they behave. So, with the Palestinian thing, it worked, not because I grew up a Palestinian. Even though some people thought that my father was Polish and my mother German, and my mother from Jordan, because this was my story. One of my stories, my father is a Polish Catholic priest, and my mother is Jordanian. Sadly, I was not like that. But I studied enough about the people that they could believe me. So, and that's what it is. And an example is, there was the other day, there was some kind of a party here in Jerusalem with the top Shmegeges of the literary world, and a guy came to me, I'm not going to mention his name, he's one of the top writers and journalists in this country, and he came to me in the middle of the party, and he said, Tuvia, I heard you are writing a book about haredi, and I said, yes. He said, me too. So I asked him in the aggregators, how does it go? And he said, could you repeat? So I said, ich hatte gefragt, aggregators. I asked you, how does it go? And he looks at me and he said, and that language, what was that? Yiddish. Now you know why everybody writes about against the Haredim, they know nothing about it. So, No, you cannot write a book about anybody without knowing the people, without understanding them. And so yes, it was advantageous. I was born there, but if not, I would have to study it to know it. And that goes for every community, if it's German, if it's American, if it's Jewish, if it's whatever it is British, you have to know the culture before you approach the people to write about it.
Okay, thank you. Gentleman here in the front. Maybe. Wait for the mic.
They say that all your experiences change your soul. How did this experience change your soul?
How the experience changed my soul? Well, I don't know if every experience changes your soul. I don't know. I'm not this kind of philosopher or whatever, spiritualist kind of a person to answer that. I know what changes your soul. I mean, every experience does something to you, of course. I mean, also if I eat good ice cream, it does something for me. It's an amazing experience. I mean, a really good ice cream. Can you call it change your soul? Maybe, I don't know. But everything you do in life changes something in you. If you are willing, if you are not spending all your time sleeping in bed, so you learn from everything. And of course, it changed my soul, I don't know. I thought, as I said before, I mean, it's like, I found out that I'm still haredi, okay. You know, but that it changed my soul, I cannot answer that. I don't know what it means.
Okay. Yes, gentleman blue shirt.
Thank you. First of all, I'm almost finished with the book in about a week, so it's been amazing. Thanks for mentioning my grandfather the whole time, Rabbi David. Did you re-encounter your family on this journey? I know they're in Bnei Brak, but did you meet up with your family? Did you re-engage with them?
If I'm engaged with my family?
Did you meet your family while you were there? Did you encounter your
Yes,
family?
of course. I do meet my family. I do, yeah. I mean, last week my sister and my brother-in-law visited me, visited us. We were there the week before that. We were quite honored to visit them. Tomorrow we are going to visit my brother. Yeah. I mean, I never say goodbye to anybody.
Okay. Amelia, right in the front. Very front.
Are you going to talk about my grudge? Are you going to talk about my grudge?
No. I'm going to talk about something worse. I'm sorry to get political, but it seems like you're maybe avoiding the elephant, the trendy elephant in the room, of the sharing the burden talk that's going on right now. You seem to not mention that. Do you do that on purpose, or is it just not relevant?
First of all, the idea of sharing the burden is a purely Israeli thing. It is a political thing. And look, I'm one haredi. I went to the army. I served in the army. I was a tankist in the tank unit. I didn't know how to drive. I still don't know how to drive a bicycle. I never know how to drive anything. The first thing I drove in my life was a tank. So this is from the perspective of somebody who served in the army. Look, there is a parliamentary system of politics here in Israel. For 75 years, for most of those years, the two main powers, Ma'arach, Labour, now it's nothing at the time, or Likud, Herod, whatever, all these parties, the big parties, the right and the left, or the soft right, soft left today, could have formed a government without the haredi. Almost every time. They had enough votes. Every time they did have enough votes. And there would be no exemption for the haredi. From serving in the army. There would be given no money for the haredi. But the secular parties, on the right and the left, hate each other so much that they always refuse to sit with each other and form a coalition together. Almost always, not always, almost always. In order to do that, and to get not to be with the other Jew, and to form still a coalition, and have over 60 Knesset members in the Knesset, they bribed the haredi, told them you don't have to serve in the army, and all, etc., etc. Now, for example, this government, the big idea was the reforma mishpatit, מהפכה משפטית, whatever you want to call it. First, change the Supreme Court. The haredi don't believe in the Supreme Court. They don't care who is the president of the Supreme Court. From their perspective, you can take an elephant and put him as the president of the Supreme Court. Maybe a bird, maybe a cat, maybe a dog. Anything will work. But they get billions of shekels, and the promise is you don't have to serve anything if you join us. Everybody talks about 64 Knesset members on the right. No, they don't have 64 Knesset members. They have about 45, 46. The rest are haredi. We don't care about these issues. Now, if somebody is willing to give you $1 billion and tell you that you can sit on your puchas and do whatever you want, well, you will not take it. If you tell me you will not take it, you are not human. You are such a grace and tzaddik, like God has never created. You must come from the devil. If you give me $1 million and you say to me, you don't serve anyone, just sit as if you are puritz, like this, and everything is given to you. All you have to do is to say, I will vote for whatever president you want in your Supreme Court. So Zion is Meshuggah, why not? Who created that? Who are the people who gave the bribes? The secular parties here. How dare they, after they've done it for 75 years, go to the haredi and accuse them of all kinds of things? How dare they? The next election is going to be the same. And the people who are complaining, stop voting for these parties. You vote for these parties, and then you complain? I'm sorry, it's still a democracy. Your vote counts. You want to call an end to this? Don't make me Afghana b'Bnei Brak. Stop voting for these people. They are the ones who have corrupted the system here because of their hate of each other. And now you blame the haredi? I'm sorry. That's the height of hypocrisy, as I see it. And I am not haredi. Far. I eat kosher and non-kosher. Together. Sometimes I mix it. You understand? But stop blaming the haredi for every wrong thing you are doing. For the hatred. Sorry. When I write a book about the government of Israel and the people, not about the haredi, I will include it in the book. That's not the fault of the haredi. Sorry, no? Okay. I hope you got an answer.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that very spirited answer. Okay, maybe we'll time for one more question. This gentleman here.
You mentioned that there's a split in the country. I think Lisa after October the 7th it still exists. So I want to know, after your experience in Shearim, is there any message that you can take out of there that we could maybe learn to make the country more united?
I didn't answer that question.
So, because the question was, with all the division in the country, is there something you learned from your time in Meir Shearim which you could actually take the message to the wider country about unity and healing?
I think I answered it. There is an analogy. We are all Jews. The people wait us, be it in Birmingham, be it in Gateshead, be it in Antwerp, be it in Brussels, be it in New York, be it in Washington, be it in London. They hate all of us equally. We are the ones who fight between each other. The world hates the Jews. All of us. If you are white or black or yellow, as you say in America, these kind of images, they hate us. If we believe in God and if we don't believe in God, they hate us, all of us. And by the end of the day, some people talk about these Hasidic Jews, they see these haredi who go demonstrate for PLO or anti-Israel. If you look at the picture of those people, there are about 10, 20 people that say, this is their job, but they go from a country to a country and demonstrate to the Steiner. If you counted the number of anti-Semites, Jewish anti-Semites, in the world, in America, in Europe, who are Jewish, the puppets of the world, have you counted them? The first one, I was in New York. The first demonstration really made an impact in New York against Israel in this war. Who was it? In Grand Central. They stopped the train. Who was it? Muslims. Ahmad and Muhammad? No. Jewish Voice for Peace. Us. If not now, us. All these organizations. That we fail to treat and to talk and to preach against. Let's look at us. So my message, there is another, stop the hatred in this country. It's really time. I'm not taking sides from right and left, but at this moment, the government is right. But whatever the government is, the present government, which is responsible under its government, we have the biggest spread of self-hate. This government must fall. Not because they are the right, not because they are the center, not because they are the left. Whatever they are, that's what we have to do. Remember, not to save the life of the politicians and their jobs. To look at each other and be able to recognize that we are eine Mishpucha, we are one family. And our haters hate all of us equally. So that's my message. But I'm a journalist. I'm not writing to write a message. What I say to you now is just an answer to a question as a person. Is there a message? Yes, there is a message. There's another. And we can go together on Shabbos, have the Kiddush, have a bisschen Jones, Adam, have a bisschen Kugel, have a bisschen Kishke, whatever you want from the Sephardic world, because the Sephardics make very good Jones, the Bukhari. Last week I ate a Bukhari Jones. Amazingly good. And together, be happy that we're still alive, that we are together, and that we are one Mishpucha. And this I have attacked Steve Linde, a wonderful man, a wonderful journalist, such a golden and a showman that he has. You can see it on his smile. And I'm so proud that he agreed to sit with me here today and join me for this evening. This is one going away.
Okay, thank you very, very much, Tuvia Tenebaum. The books are on sale outside, and Tuvia will happily sign them for you if you haven't done that already. You can also buy them here in Jerusalem at Pomerantz Bookstore, who are kindly helping us with the sales here today as well. It can be bought along with Tuvia's other books on Amazon, of course, and that's especially relevant to those of you not here with us watching on Zoom. For those of you who are not on my mailing list for our events here at the Bacon Centre in English, then drop me an email, paulg@baconcentre.org.il, and we hope to see you again, and thanks to Leah.
And I want to thank you all for coming. I didn't expect any of you to come, because in the mood of the people, what happened on Motzei Shabbat, you know, I didn't think anybody would come. But you came, thank you for coming, thank you for Bacon Centre, thank you Paul, and thank you Elsie who's now in New York if you're watching us. Thanks Elsie, and again thank you very much, Chag Sameach, enjoy it.